The rain hit the windows of Jack Holloway's small apartment. He sat on his bed and looked at the paper on his door. It was his last warning. Pay now or leave. His bank account showed $0. Jack was 32 years old. He had been in the Navy SEALs for 10 years. Now he had no job and no skills for normal work. Jack ran his hand through his short brown hair. His phone made a sound. A message from a number he did not know. Humanity has been invited to join the Galactic Council. They need people for special work. Very dangerous, very good pay. Want to know more? Jack stared at the message for a long time. It had to be a joke. Aliens? A Galactic Council? But Jack had nothing to lose. He typed back, yes. 2 days later, Jack walked into a plain gray building. 50 other people were there. Some wore old military clothes like him. Others looked like they enjoyed jumping off cliffs or diving in deep water for fun. All of them looked like people who needed money or a new start. A woman with short black hair and a dark blue suit walked in. My name is Lisa Grant. I work for the Human Space Integration Department. Thank you all for coming. She turned on a big screen on the wall. 3 months ago, aliens made contact with Earth. The room got very quiet. Lisa showed pictures of strange creatures. Some had too many arms. Some had skin that glowed. Some looked like nothing Jack had ever seen. The Galactic Council has 17 different alien species, Lisa said. They want Earth to join them. But we must help them with a problem first. We must join the Void Corps. More pictures came on the screen. Aliens in special suits walked through storms of fire. They floated in spaces full of rocks. They stood on planets where the air would melt human skin. The Void Corps does the most dangerous work in the galaxy, Lisa said. They save people from crashed ships. They get valuable things from dangerous places. They fix problems no one else can fix. Lisa looked at all of them. Every species in the council must send people to the Void Corps, but most aliens have a big problem. When they face very dangerous things, they freeze, they cannot move, they get too scared. Jack raised his hand. And humans don't get too scared? Lisa smiled a little. Humans are different. We run toward danger. We jump out of planes for fun. We climb mountains with no ropes. The aliens think we are crazy, but they need us. A man with red hair and a beard spoke up. What's the pay? If you finish your 5-year contract, you will get enough money for 10 lifetimes, Lisa said. Your family will never need to work again, if you survive. Jack thought about his empty bank account. He thought about his life with no purpose. Where do I sign up? By the end of the day, 20 people had said yes. Jack looked at the others who would go with him to space. Susan Blake was a woman with long blonde hair and eyes that showed no fear. She was the best rock climber in the country. She could hang from her fingers over drops that would kill most people. Alan Wright was short, but very strong. He had worked with underwater bombs in the Marines. He knew how to stay calm when one wrong move meant death. Olivia Perkins had been a top engineer at a space company. She had lost her husband and daughter in a car crash last year. Since then, she took risks that scared even other engineers. She had nothing left to lose. Training starts tomorrow, Lisa told them. It will be the hardest thing you have ever done. Many of you will quit. Some of you may get hurt. But those who finish will be the first humans to join the stars. That night, Jack could not sleep. He looked out his window at the stars above Seattle. Soon he would be up there, doing the most dangerous job in the galaxy. He should have been scared. Instead, he felt alive for the first time since leaving the Navy. The next morning, Jack and the others got on a plain black bus with no windows. No one knew where they were going. No one asked. They all knew they were heading toward danger. They were heading toward a new life among the stars. Susan sat next to Jack on the bus. Are you scared? She asked. Jack thought about it. No, I'm not scared of dying up there. I was scared of living down here with no purpose. Susan nodded. Same. When I climb, I feel alive. The aliens don't understand that, do they? They don't understand why we seek out danger. They will, Jack said, looking out as the bus drove into a hidden base in the mountains. They'll learn what humans can do. The galaxy has the deadliest job and we're rushing to join. The bus stopped. The doors opened. Ahead of them was a huge building with a sign, Void Core Training Facility. 2 aliens stood by the door. One had 6 arms and skin like blue glass. The other looked almost human except for its silver eyes and the fact that it floated above the ground. "Welcome," the floating alien said in perfect English. "Your training begins now. Many will fail. Those who succeed will change the future of humanity forever." Jack picked up his small bag of belongings and walked toward the door. Behind him, the other humans followed. The galaxy's deadliest job waited for them, and humanity was ready to show the universe what they could do. The training center looked normal from the outside. It was in the middle of the Nevada desert. It had plain walls and a fence around it. But inside, it was like another world. Jack walked into his first training room and stopped. The air felt heavy. His body felt like it weighed 3 times more than normal. He could barely lift his foot to take a step. "This room copies the gravity of Jupiter," said Commander Keith Randall. He was an old astronaut with gray hair and a face full of lines. "Your bones will break if you fall here. Your muscles will tear if you move too fast. This is just the start." In another room, the air burned Jack's lungs. It wasn't deadly, but it hurt to breathe. In a third room, they wore special glasses that showed them strange alien worlds where the ground moved and the sky had 3 suns. Their teachers were both humans and aliens. Commander Randall taught them how to move and fight in different gravity. Nancy Coleman, a woman with short gray hair and glasses, taught them about alien life and dangerous planets. The strangest teacher was an alien named Zixtal. It had 6 long arms and skin so clear Jack could see its organs moving inside its body. Zixtal taught them about how aliens think and how the Galactic Council works. "Most species avoid danger," Zixtal said on their 3rd week. Its voice came from a small box on its chest that turned its alien sounds into English. "It is how we lived long enough to build spaceships. But humans are different. When you face danger, your bodies make chemicals that make you stronger and faster. You don't freeze. You fight harder." Susan raised her hand. "Is that why the Council wants us?" "Want you?" Zixtal's skin turned purple. "The Council needs you. The Void Core was failing. Too many lost ships. Too many places no one would go. Things worth more money than your whole planet makes in a year were left behind. Then we found Earth. You humans are saving our space travel. You are saving our trade between worlds." The training was harder than anything Jack had done before. In the 6th week, 5 people quit. In the 8th week, 3 more left after a training exercise with radiation made them sick for days. By the end of 3 months, only 10 people were left. Jack, Susan, Alan, and Olivia were among them. They had learned to work in teams. They had learned to use alien tools. They had learned to think and move in worlds that would kill most humans in minutes. On their last night on Earth, they sat around a fire under the stars. None of them had family to say goodbye to. The Void Core had picked people who would not be missed. "To the craziest humans on Earth," Jack said, lifting his beer. "Soon to be the craziest humans in space," Olivia added with a small smile. Alan looked up at the stars. "Do you think we'll come back?" No one answered. They all knew the numbers. Half of Void Core members died in their first year. Only 1 in 5 finished their 5-year contract. "I'm not planning to die out there," Susan finally said. "I'm planning to show those aliens what humans can really do." The next morning, they went to a secret launch site in the mountains. A ship waited for them. It didn't look like human spaceships. It was smooth and silver, with no rockets or wings. It just floated above the ground. Lisa Grant met them at the ship. "This is the Horizon's Edge. It's a Galactic Council ship. It will be your home for the next 5 years if you live that long." Jack looked at the huge ship. It was bigger than a football field. "How does it fly?" "The engines bend space," Lisa said. "You'll learn more on board. The ship will leave Earth's orbit in 1 hour. Once you step on that ship, you're Void Core. You're the first humans to join the Galactic Council's forces. One by one, they walked up the ramp into the alien ship. Jack was the last to enter. He looked back at Earth one more time. The planet looked peaceful from here. No one down there knew about aliens yet. No one knew that humans were about to change the balance of power in the galaxy. Inside the ship, everything was strange. The floors were soft. The lights came from the walls themselves. The air smelled like flowers and metal. An alien met them in the first room. It looked like a walking lizard with colorful feathers on its head. "I am Raxley," it said through a translator. "I will be your guide on the horizon's edge. Your rooms are ready. Your training will continue during our flight to Void Core headquarters." As they walked through the ship, other aliens moved out of their way. Some had too many eyes. Some had no eyes at all. Some floated instead of walked. All of them stared at the humans. "They are afraid of us," Susan whispered to Jack. "Not afraid," Raxley said, its feathers changing from blue to green. "They are uncomfortable. Your kind runs toward danger. Most species run away from it. They do not understand you." In their new rooms, Jack found a window that looked out at the stars. Earth was getting smaller as the ship moved away. Soon it would just be another point of light. "They'll understand us soon," he said to himself. "They'll see what humans can do." The ship moved faster and faster. Earth disappeared from view. Jack Holloway and the other 9 humans were on their way to the most dangerous job in the galaxy. And none of them were afraid. The ship Horizon's Edge was like a floating city in space. Jack and the other humans lived in their own area, away from most of the alien crew. Their rooms were comfortable but simple. The food was strange but good once they got used to it. Jack noticed that aliens would move away when humans walked down the hallways. They would press against walls or duck into rooms. "They act like we have a disease," Susan said, as they sat in the human dining room. "We've been on this ship for a week, and no one will talk to us except Raxley." "It's not that they think you are sick," said Raxley as he walked in. His lizard-like face was hard to read, but his feathers were a calm blue color. "It's that your minds work in a way that makes no sense to them. You seek out danger. You enjoy risk. To most species, that seems like a kind of madness." 3 days later, they got their first mission. They met in a room with screens on all the walls. A blob-like alien floated in a tank of green liquid at the front of the room. It spoke through a computer. "I am Captain Drell," the blob said. "Your team has been assigned to Void Core Division 7. You will do salvage operations in dangerous places." The screen showed a planet with blue clouds and black lakes. A damaged ship was half sunk in one of the lakes. "This is Proxima Theta," Captain Drell said. "It is a moon with lakes of liquid methane. The air is mostly nitrogen. The temperature is minus 180 degrees Celsius. A research ship crashed there 3 weeks ago. We need the data from that ship." Jack looked at the pictures of the crashed ship. "What's so important about the data?" "It has information about a possible wormhole," Raxley explained. "A stable wormhole could change how we travel between stars. It could make trips that take months happen in minutes." "Why hasn't anyone else gotten the data?" Alan asked. The blob made a sound like bubbles popping. 3 teams tried. All refused to enter the ship when they saw it was not stable. They were afraid it would collapse while they were inside. Jack looked at the other humans. They all smiled. This was exactly the kind of job they had trained for. This was why humans were valuable. "We'll do it," Jack said. The next day they took a small ship down to Proxima Theta. They wore special suits that looked like walking tanks. The suits would keep them warm in the extreme cold and let them breathe in the alien air. When they stepped out onto the surface of Proxima Theta, the wind was so strong it was hard to stand. Ice particles hit their suits like bullets. The methane lake bubbled and hissed. "If that methane catches fire, this whole place will explode," Alan said. "Good thing it's too cold for fire." "Let's split up," Jack said. "Olivia and Alan, check the outside of the ship. Make sure it won't sink more while we're in it. Susan and I will go inside and find the data. The ship was half underwater in the methane lake. It creaked and moved as they walked through it. Any wrong step could make it sink completely. Jack and Susan found their way to the middle of the ship where the research computers were. The data was stored in a crystal the size of a basketball. As they carefully removed it, the whole ship moved. "We're sinking." Alan's voice came through their suit radios. "The ground under the lake is giving way. Get out now." Jack put the data crystal in a special container on his back. He and Susan ran back the way they had come. Parts of the ship were falling around them. In one narrow hallway, a large beam fell on Susan's leg. "I'm stuck," she yelled. Jack grabbed the beam. It was incredibly heavy. His suit had extra strength systems, but it was still almost impossible to lift. He felt his muscles scream with pain. With one great effort, he lifted the beam just enough for Susan to pull free. They made it out of the ship just as it made a final groan and sank completely into the black lake. The small ship that brought them to the surface was waiting. An alien with 4 arms was the pilot. "You got the data?" the pilot asked, all 4 arms working the controls at once. No one has ever completed a mission on this moon before. As they flew back to the horizon's edge, news of their success traveled ahead of them. When they arrived at the main ship, the landing bay was full of aliens. This time they weren't avoiding the humans. They were waiting to see them. "They're all here to see us?" Susan asked Raxley. "They are here to see the species that does not know fear," Raxley said. "The story of your mission is already spreading through the ship. You did what 3 other teams would not do. You went into a failing ship on a deadly moon and got the data." Captain Drell met them as they stepped off their ship. The Blob's tank had been moved to the landing bay. "The Council will be very interested in what humans can do," the captain said. "This data could change space travel forever, and it is only the first of many missions for your team." That night, Jack looked out his window at the stars. They were different here, far from Earth. He thought about the mission. They had faced deadly cold, explosive gases, and a collapsing ship, and they had done it without fear. The Galactic Council had found the perfect species for the galaxy's deadliest job, and humanity was just getting started. 6 months passed. Jack and his team went on many dangerous missions. They saved alien scientists trapped on a planet with acid rain. They fixed a power station inside a gas giant where the pressure could crush metal. They found a lost ship in an asteroid field full of radiation. No other Void Corps team had ever succeeded so many times with no losses. The aliens on the horizon's edge no longer avoided the humans. Now they watched them with what seemed like respect. Some even tried to learn human ways. A few brave aliens asked to train with the humans, though most could not handle the simulated dangers. One day, Jack and his team were called to meet someone new. They went to a special room with soft blue light. In the middle floated a being, unlike any alien they had seen before. It was like a cloud of light that sometimes looked solid and sometimes looked like it wasn't really there. "This is Ambassador Elorian," Raxley told them. "The ambassador is from a species that lives partly in another dimension. Very few humans have met one before." The glowing being spoke, but not with sound. Its words appeared directly in their minds. "Your work has impressed the Galactic Council," the ambassador's thought said. "But now we face a crisis that will test even human courage." The room darkened. Images appeared in the air. A space station orbited a black hole. The black hole was a point of complete darkness with light bending around it. "This is Cygnus Station," the ambassador continued. "Our scientists were studying new ways to travel faster than light. 3 weeks ago, all contact with the station stopped. The research there could change how we travel between stars. We must know what happened." "Why not send a normal rescue team?" Olivia asked. The ambassador's glow dimmed slightly. 2 teams already went. Neither returned. "The last message we received mentioned reality fractures. We do not know what that means." Jack looked at his team. This mission was beyond dangerous. It might be impossible, but that was why the Void Corps existed. That was why humanity had joined. "We volunteer," Jack said. The others nodded. Olivia spoke up. "I've studied black holes. The gravity will create time problems. What seems like minutes to us might be hours for you. We'll need special equipment. The next day, they left on a small, fast ship. As they approached Cygnus Station, their instruments started to show strange readings. Time moved differently the closer they got to the black hole. They had to adjust their communications constantly to stay in touch with the horizon's edge. "Look at that," Susan said, pointing at the screens. The black hole pulled light around it like water going down a drain. The space station orbited just far enough away to not be pulled in. It was a gray ring with light still on in some sections. "No damage that I can see," Alan said as they docked with the station. "So where is everyone?" They put on their space suits before entering. The air inside the station was breathable, but they kept their helmets on. The inside of the station was cold and empty. Food sat on tables in the eating area. Computers were still running in the workrooms, but there were no bodies, no signs of a fight. Everyone was just gone. "It's like they all just vanished during lunch," Susan said. They followed the emergency lights to the main research lab. In it, the center of the room was a ball of swirling energy. It floated inside a force field. The force field was flickering, growing weaker. "This is not good," Olivia said, checking the computers. They were experimenting with punching a hole through space-time, creating a shortcut between distant points, but something went wrong. They created a door to somewhere else. Jack noticed a security camera. "Can we see what happened?" Olivia found the security recordings. In the final hours before contact was lost, the scientists had noticed the force field weakening. Most had run to escape pods, but some had done something strange. They had walked right into the swirling energy ball. They hadn't been pulled in. They had gone in by choice. "They didn't evacuate," Jack said. "At least not all of them. Some went through that portal. They wanted to see what was on the other side." The team faced a hard choice. They needed to fix the force field to stop it from breaking completely. If it did, the tear in space-time might grow and threaten the whole sector. But fixing it might trap forever whoever had gone through. "We need to split up," Jack said. "Susan and Alan stabilize the force field and get the research data. Olivia and I will go through and find any survivors." "That's crazy," Alan said. "We don't know what's on the other side. You might never come back." "That's the job," Jack replied. "We're Void Core. We do what no one else will do." As Jack and Olivia prepared to step into the unknown, a voice came through their radio. It was Ambassador Elorian, somehow reaching them despite the communication problems. "We expected humans to risk death," the ambassador said. "We never expected you to risk your very existence." Jack looked at Olivia. Her face was calm behind her helmet. They both knew they might never return, yet neither hesitated. "That's what makes us human," Jack said. Together, they stepped into the swirling energy. The last thing they heard was Alan calling their names. Then there was silence. Then darkness. Then a flash of blue light. And they were somewhere else entirely. The journey through the portal lasted forever and no time at all. Jack felt like he was being pulled apart and put back together. Olivia was next to him one moment, then gone, then back again. Then they were standing in what looked like the same research lab. But it was different. The light had a blue color to it. The air felt heavier. Jack looked out the window and gasped. Instead of the black hole, there was a swirling cloud of purple and green gas. "We're still in the station," Olivia said. "But not our station. Not our space." "You're right," said a voice behind them. A man with white hair and a thin face stood in the doorway. "Welcome to what we call Reality B. I'm Richard Dawes, Chief Scientist of Cygnus Station, or what was Cygnus Station." "We came to rescue you," Jack said. Richard smiled. "We don't need rescuing. We came here on purpose. Follow me." He led them through the station. It was like the one they had left, but with small differences. The walls were a different color, some rooms were in different places, and everywhere scientists were working with energy and excitement. They entered a large room filled with computer screens and strange equipment. 20 scientists looked up as they entered. Some were human. Some were aliens Jack had never seen before. "What happened here?" Olivia asked. "Everyone thought you were dead." "Dead?" "No," Richard said. We made the greatest discovery in history. We didn't just find a way to travel faster between stars. We found a way to step between realities. Richard showed them the data on the screens. Their experiments on traveling through space had accidentally opened a door to a parallel universe. A place where things were mostly the same but with important differences. In this reality, the Cygnus black hole is a nebula, Richard explained. Physics works slightly differently here. Resources exist here that don't exist in our reality. And this is just one of many realities we can reach. Why didn't you tell anyone? Jack asked. Why did you let everyone think you were dead? We tried, one of the other scientists said. But the signal couldn't get through the portal. And we needed time to make sure it was safe before we invited others to join us. Meanwhile, in the original reality, Susan and Alan had stabilized the force field around the portal. They had called the Horizon's Edge and reported what happened. The news that humans had willingly entered a space-time portal had shocked the Galactic Council. We must assume they are lost, Captain Drell told Susan and Alan when they returned to the ship. I don't believe that, Susan said. If anyone can survive wherever that portal leads, it's Jack and Olivia. 3 days later, as the Horizon's Edge prepared to leave the Cygnus black hole, something unexpected happened. A signal came through from the portal. It was Jack's voice, but with strange static. This is Jack Holloway. Olivia and I are alive. We've found the missing scientists. They've discovered parallel realities. We're coming back with data. Prepare for our return in 6 hours. 6 hours later, the portal on Cygnus Station glowed brighter. Then Jack and Olivia stepped through, carrying containers of samples and data storage devices. Behind them, Richard and 2 other scientists followed. The Horizon's Edge returned to Galactic Council space with news that changed everything. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. Ambassador Elorian addressed the gathered representatives of 17 alien species. For centuries, we have explored the stars. The ambassador's thoughts echoed in the Great Hall. But humans have helped us begin to explore entirely new realities. We invited them to join the Void Corps because they do not fear death. We never imagined they would use that courage to push beyond the boundaries of our known universe. In the 2 years since humanity had joined the Galactic Council, everything had changed. Humans were no longer just new members. They were essential partners. The discovery of parallel realities opened doors that other species had never dreamed of exploring. The Council voted to create a new group, the Multiversal Exploration Corps. Unlike the Void Corps, this would not be just for humans. It would be for mixed teams with humans teaching other species how to face fear. Jack stood before the Council as they named him the first leader of the new corps. He thought about how far humanity had come. We joined because it was the galaxy's deadliest job, he told the aliens watching him. We stayed because it was the galaxy's most important job. Back on Earth, news about aliens had finally been shared with everyone. People were amazed to learn that humans had a special place in the galaxy. Recruitment centers opened around the world. Thousands of people signed up to join the Void Corps and the new Multiversal Exploration Corps. Scientists wanted to study new worlds. Soldiers wanted to protect Earth's place in space. Adventurers wanted to see things no human had seen before. All of them were ready to face dangers that made other species freeze in fear. Television news showed pictures of alien ships in Earth's orbit. The words at the bottom of the screen said, "The galaxy's deadliest jobs, and humanity continues to rush to join." Jack watched the news from his new office on the Horizon's Edge. Susan, Alan, and Olivia stood with him. They had all signed new contracts. 5 more years in space. 5 more years of danger. Do you ever regret signing up? Susan asked him. Jack smiled and looked out at the stars. Never. For the first time, humanity has found its true purpose. We're the species that isn't afraid to step into the unknown. And that's exactly what the universe needs.